How's it going, people? Welcome to this week's episode of The Locker Room right here on Top 6 Fan TV. And with me in the studio are the noisy bunch, a gentleman from North London and another one from Old Trafford, Manchester. And I'm sure we will be having a very good feast of banter coming up. And we'll get right into it after this. Brilliant, brilliant. Welcome back, welcome back. And I would like to welcome Neville, Mr. Igasira, back to the show, one of our resident Gunners. Neville, you can say hi to the virtual crowd.
Thank you, Matthew. Glad to be back and glad to see Nate is still alive. Things have not been going very, very well for Manchester, but he's a strong man, so we move. But it's good to be back.
Yes, if there's a godfather of Gegenpress somewhere sitting at Old Trafford, there's a grandson for Gegen Depress seated somewhere right here. Right here. And Mr. Nate, welcome back from that depressing spell from Man United and Manchester United. 2 wins on the bounce. You must be excited. Say what's up to the virtual crowd.
Hi guys, it's good to be back after a while. Yeah, and can't wait for that show.
Brilliant. You can stop wearing black now. The team is back on the day. So next time you can get your retro jersey back on the show.
I sure will. I sure will.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And let's kick off the action with a review of the weekend's activities. And ladies and gentlemen, first of all, if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. If it's your first time, bienvenue, as the French say, welcome. And definitely hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and we will be glad to continue with the content we're bringing you. And we'll kick off the action with a review of the weekend, and nowhere other than the City of Manchester Stadium, otherwise known as the Etihad Stadium, to kick off the action. I mean, what a game, what a cracker right there. Manchester City slumping to a 3-2 defeat at the hands of an off-form Spurs team. I mean, I'll kick off with Neville. We're closer to North London. What were your thoughts on that game? Was it a well-deserved victory? Conte got his tactics right. Did City just have an off day, jet lag from the Champions League, their Champions League ventures? What went wrong for City and what went right for Spurs?
I feel like that particular game was one of those where I think Spurs has now become a boogie team for Man City, for some sort. Every club sort of has one of those. I think if I'm not mistaken, even Barca has, I think, Sociedad or something. The only difference is that Man U has so many of those. But for City,
Man City,
Spurs has
let's focus, please.
No matter how badly they're doing, when it comes to City, they sort of bring up their game. And honestly, I feel like they deserve the points and they played well. All their team members, I could not imagine that some of those players were the ones who were playing against Wolves. So, and the fact that they actually scored the winner in the dying minutes after City had just equalized tells you the sort of mental capability they're in when they're playing City. Unlike any other club, and I have to say, even Arsenal, I don't think they have that sort of mental strength. Given the fact that when we were playing them last, when Arsenal was playing City, I felt like Arsenal actually outplayed them. Those City managed to win because of the refs and what's happening. But I think it's a scoreline that everyone wanted, just to open up sort of the league and not have one team sort of run away with it months before we're done or whatnot. Now Liverpool is back in the fray, and I feel like the league is back up and good to play for now.
Brilliant, brilliant, Nate. I mean, you were looking at as a Manchester United fan, looking not so long ago. You're part of the Ole Out brigade, and you're really vouching for Manchester United to sack Ole as quickly as possible and hire Antonio Conte. Never has touched on the mental strength or resilience of Spurs there to steal it at the death. Do you think that's a reflection of their manager, or was it just plain? Is it plain motivation for the Man City game from the Spurs team?
Just to correct you, I've never been Conte in. I've always been against Conte coming to Manchester United. But away from that, yeah. You know
You
my man.
you
You know my
you
man.
you're all out. You're Conte out.
Yeah, Ole out, Conte out, Ten Hag in, Xavi in, Pep in, all those guys. Luis Enrique in. Anyway, back to the main point. We'll remember when Guardiola came
Mm,
to the Premier League, the first team that delivered him, the team that delivered him his first defeat was Tottenham. I remember that game. It was a 2-0 victory for Spurs. Watching that game, it was a really good game for a neutral, and I think we were all neutrals. I want to believe, apart from Man City and these guys. It was Tottenham. Then for the next, I don't know, for the next 80 or whatever minutes, it was strictly, and also Man City. They were just playing, pressing, and they just suffocated Tottenham. But
mm,
Conte, I believe it's a mixture of both. Conte got his tactics, whereas I don't think he is performing really well
mm,
for the hype that he came with. I think there are individual games that he really sat down and calculated the game plan for this game. It was really a master. It was he really masterminded the game. The victory. You could see that
mm,
these guys were this was a well thought out and strategic, game plan, and that worked for them. City were, of course, they succumbed to some, few errors here and there. I think it was a third goal. The third goal, I believe, Cancelo was caught out sleeping. Because
mm.
you can see Harry Kane is running. Harry Kane really ran from deep before Son crossed the ball to him. So I think that was a second. Was it a second or third
That was the
goal?
second
Anyway,
one.
one of
The
Harry
third
Kane's
goal,
goals.
the third goal, the build-up was from Rodrigo Betancourt in midfield who passed to Kulusevski on the right, who then put in a great cross for Kane to head in the winning
Yes,
goal.
yes. Okay, yeah. So Kane's first goal. Kane's first goal.
Mm.
He runs past Cancelo. Now Cancelo is a really fast
The
wing back. Is he a
defender,
wing back
yeah.
or
He's the winger.
yeah. So he's really quick at going and going forward and then recovering. But it's like he looked at Kane, just glide past him. And I don't think Kane is the fastest of people. So I don't know how he managed to go between Kane and Diaz. I believe it was Diaz, and score
Mm.
that goal. So there was a bit of complacency with City, but I mean, but it was a really nice game. It was my
Highlight of the weekend.
no. The highlight of the weekend was on another game, but it was my highlight for Saturday.
I see them was smiling. But anyways, that defeat there, as you can see, 3-2, like we did mention, goals coming in. If you missed that action, you need to go check out the highlights of that. Spurs opening the score with a goal from Dejan Gulusevski. I mean, Nepo, what a pass from Harry Kane to release Son, who then, of course, that did what he does based and race down the left flank before passing
Mm.
for Kulusevski to slot into an empty net. For me, I mean, Son, fantastic, fantastic stuff. But Harry Kane took this game by the scruff of the neck, and never. If you compare, I mean, the prime strikers this season have been deemed to not be delivering or be underperforming. Kane has not been an exception to that. You have the likes of Romelu Lukaku. We did see Aubameyang, who was shipped out by Arsenal. I mean, the strikers are not in charge of the league. It's only Mo Salah who has lit up the charts. But even the likes of Jamie Vardy, off form. You could even go as low as Aston Villa's. Who's this guy they signed from Southampton?
Watkins.
No, not Watkins. The other guy, the guy who was at Southampton last season, Danny Ings, who was also on fire last season. Also, misfiring. So it's been a common theme in the Premier League this season. But Neville, what's your take on Harry Kane's performance? Because I think it was a masterclass with the 2 goals,
any game,
that pass to release.
I have to be honest. Any game when Son and Harry Kane are in sync, it's very, very hard to actually beat the Spurs team. And I think the reason as to why Spurs are where they are right now is that I think his head, in particular for Harry Kane, is not where he's supposed to be. The fact that the transfer did not happen, I think it affected him a lot. And it has shown all the way through the season. But I guess it gets to a point whereby you realize I'm here and I'm not about to go anywhere. The Jan transfer season has come and gone. No one even tried to come for him, most especially the team he thought would have. But after spending 100 million on a player like Grealish, who has not performed that much, I was not expecting City to come back and get him. So I think it has been a turnaround of fortune actually for Spurs now, because Kane knows I'm here, and if I want to leave again, I have to perform to the best of my capabilities, and that's been one of Kane's best matches so far. And as long as you're playing with Son and you're playing well, I guarantee you some good things are about to happen. But they know each other. They've been playing together very well. They've been playing well. There's what I think everyone would call some sort of chemistry. The fast touches, the fast through pass, the fast knock-ons, the breaks. When it comes to Son and Kane, and they're really on song, it's a very hard combination to beat. And the new player as well seems like he's slotting in very well. So I think Conte and his team will be a very tough team to beat in this second half of the season.
Brilliant. And of course, Man City equalizing through Ilkay Gundogan, and of course, Spurs hitting back through Harry Kane, and then a penalty in towards the end from City, and they thought they had nicked a draw there from Riyad Mahrez before, like we have alluded to, Harry Kane snatched it at the death. And I mean, if you saw, there you have Kane again. But if you saw Antonio Conte celebrating, Nate, I mean, look at this. He went on to climb out of the stadium, and he's still running as we speak. And I mean, what passion! For me, I think the quality of Conte is shining through. A mediocre team or mediocre squad. Let me call it mediocre squad, with the exception of Harry Kane, Son, and maybe Højbjerg and the keeper. Loris. The rest are really average players. But I think the organization.
Matthew, I don't think they're average players.
I disagree as well.
I think the Spurs squad easily comes in about 4th, if not 3rd, or something in terms of. On paper, player by player.
On paper, they are 4th.
No.
But most likely,
I would argue against that.
The coach actually says he was misquoted when he had an interview with the Italian press. But I think Conte knew what he was saying, and he was highlighting something like everyone knows where Conte goes, he has to buy the players that fit into the system that he wants. He was talking about the chairman not having backed him enough to actually buy the players he would have wanted, I think, in the January transfer window. But on paper, even against Arsenal, I think Spurs might easily have some of the best players, at least for the first 11.
Pound for pound, our defense is better, to be honest.
Yeah, once you start picking out particular parts of the team, then you know there's trouble. But I'm talking about the whole squad, pound for pound, player by player. and even squad depth, I think Spurs is still better. So I think they have the players. It has just not been clicking, and it has been happening one-offs, and I think that's what has been frustrating Conte.
Nate, you agree with that assessment before
Oh
we
yes,
move
very
on
much
from
so.
Spurs?
Yeah, yeah, I do. And also just to add on to Neville's point, it's just weird that Son and Kane have played together for so long, and there are these dips in form this season. It's just okay. Maybe Kane's head
The dip has
was not.
been Kane, to be honest. Son has
Yeah,
been
I think I
performing.
think I think he hasn't been there in his head, but he now acknowledges that I think he now acknowledges the way this business works. No one is going to buy Kane first of all because no
He's
one is
so
going to pay that
expensive.
money. Yeah, no one's going to pay that money for him. He signed that contract knowing that it was a long-term contract, 6 years, and the 6 years run out in 4 years' time, I think, and by then he will be about 33. So
Yeah, he's
he's
done.
he actually is the one who put himself in this dilemma. So I think now that he sees that, he's able to
But
to
can you
fully
blame
focus
him, Nate?
on
Nate, would you
for
blame
what
him? The time that
for
contract was signed, Spurs were at their peak, arguably. Eriksen,
yeah,
Pochettino
but
still
you need
around. Their
to.
defense was stronger. Their team was stronger, actually.
Yeah,
Champions
but
I
League,
think
they were
you
starting
I
to
think
play
there's
well
a
even in the
there's a there's a
Champions League. They
point
had just
there's
gotten
a
a
point
very
you need to
liquid
reach.
stadium. Things were
know.
looking
There's
up.
a there's a point you need to
Oh,
reach and
yeah.
realize that your level is okay. At least wait until Feb. Be like do like a Pogba. Wait until Feb and be like, you know what, guys, I'm going to make my mind up. Don't be in a hurry. And then see who is talking to you in the last 6 months, what they are offering. I mean, because there's some players who
Hmm.
really have what do they call it, mileage, and they really have a say in the league
Hmm.
because of who they are. Harry Kane is
Hmm.
English. He's arguably the best English striker, right now.
Hmm.
He's the captain of. Is he the English captain? I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he's England captain.
he's
You
the
know,
England captain,
he's
actually.
England captain. So I mean, that kind of level. First of all,
But
if he
but
gets some,
Nate,
if
Nate,
he was to get
you
a
do
move,
know that could have worked against him in terms of him
no,
taking it for granted that most likely at whatever price someone would still buy him out of this contract.
Hmm.
no, I don't think so. Because maybe what they did, maybe what he thought was okay. I owe Tottenham. They've brought me here, so let me sign so that Tottenham can get something out of the deal in case I'm to move. And I think that is what they told him, or they made some promises to him. And then
Yes,
Levy turned
But
around and was like, boss, you're not
in
wouldn't
going
that
true
be
anywhere. We
Levy
very
want.
style.
naive for anyone who's playing for Levy?
No, but then also it's his fault that he didn't put a clause in his contract. This is business. He should have asked for a transfer clause to be put in his contract before he signed it, at the very
And
Anyways,
least.
rarely does that happen, by the way, for players who have
Yeah,
come from the
because
academy. So most
no,
times you
but
might have
but he
to
gave he
blame
gave
him
all
for
the
that.
power to to Levy,
Daniel
as
Levy.
in
No,
yeah.
Levy is a master at that, gentleman, and I will move us away from the Man City game. I
Oh,
mean
Sadio Mane
that
was
one
a nice
cutting.
goal.
Yeah, that was a great goal. That was a great goal. Cutting the lead down to 6 points.
Three
Liverpool winning their game against Norwich, and that Man City loss, enabling Liverpool to close the gap to 6 points with a game in hand. And
to three
that
points, I think. They are three or six. Six?
no, no, six
They're
points
six
Yeah, it's
points,
six
having
with a
six
game
played
in
points with a
hand.
game
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
hand.
with the game in
Yes, yes,
hand.
yes.
So the title
And
race
I
is
think Liverpool is playing City in a few games or one.
yeah, Liverpool is playing Leeds next, and that's going to be this week. And if they
Mm-hmm.
win that, they'll be just 3 points behind. And well, they
That is
have a
seventh
bit of a
from.
tough run. They have a bit of a tough run until they play City on 9th April. That's on 9th April. But before that, they have to play Manchester United. Then they host Arsenal, and
No,
then
that will be
they
easy.
also have
That will
West
be easy.
Ham.
The Manchester bit, that will be easy.
I agree with you, Neville. There, that's certain win,
Mhm.
but of course, in between that, they have some Champions League ties in there. But yeah, it is certainly shaping up to be a very
Mhm.
very interesting race. But Liverpool, putting Norwich in their place, of course, Norwich taking the lead, fast through Milot Rashika, but Sadio Mane there,
Mhm.
scoring the kind of goal Neville used to back in his kindergarten days, bicycle kick into the net, and leveling it up for Liverpool before Mo Salah, returned to the score sheet after quiet beginning to the year, and
Mhm.
then Luis Diaz, the new boy, sealing it out for Liverpool. So potentially, this could be trimmed down to 3 points at the end of this week. What does that mean? Do you see? I mean, we have seen City and Liverpool go all the way, and you know how City reacts after a loss like that. They definitely, they just it's like all of them take Red Bull, all the players take Red Bull, and they start flying again. They go on another 10-game run. But we do know that if there's one team that has shown that they are able to have similar consistency to Man City and go all the way, it is Liverpool. So for me, it is tough for me to call at the moment. At the beginning of the season, I actually predicted that Liverpool would win the league, but I didn't think it would be in this manner. I actually thought City would tail off for lack of a striker, but they have been extremely resilient. So this is actually going to shape up into an interesting one. Never, do you think Liverpool can push them all the way and actually pip
No
them
chance.
to the league,
No chance. I
even
feel
with a
like
3 point gap?
no, 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 no. Even when they come close or they manage to beat City, I still think City has the mantle to actually win the league, and I feel like they've won the league already. There's something. They
Wow.
honestly there's something about the
Mhm.
City team and their consistency, and Liverpool has had a little bit more of luck as compared to City. And you can only use luck for so long in terms of winning the league.
Mm.
You need the luck to win the league, but you can only rely on it for so long. And I feel like the
Mm.
consistency and the team that City have is just strong enough, especially with all of them still playing in so many tournaments. I think City will still have it in them to actually win. It's just
Yeah.
good that I don't want them to run away with it. I want all
Mhm.
of us to be in the fray of things and not have a team come to April having a 20-point gap or whatnot. That's not good
Yeah.
for the league. So as long as all the other teams and especially Liverpool keep just in and around, that's good for the league. But I still think City have the upper hand as regards to winning the league this season.
Nate, do you agree with that? Especially,
Yes.
let me give you my hunch. I have a hunch that Man City will give it a very solid push. But if Man City get to a certain point where, let's say, they have a two-legged Champions League semi-final against, let's say, Real Madrid, and then they have some crunch ties in there, they have, they have, let's say, they're looking at their last games in between, let's say, in between that Liverpool clash, they have this semi-final against Real Madrid in the Champions League, second leg that they have to go all out for. Do you think, I have a hunch that Guardiola will prioritize the Champions League at all costs. And, because he actually,
Mhm.
thought the Premier League was done and dusted. And now he has to rally his troops again to give it a good go.
Mhm.
But I have a feeling that he will not take it at the expense of the Champions League, especially since they won it last year. What do you think, Nate?
I think Guardiola is not that kind of manager who has preference of this over that. Guardiola wants to win. He wants to win, 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 especially these big titles. Now, the the thing about City is they have a team, a full squad of 25 guys, who can turn up, and I mean their level does not drop off. Against Tottenham, I mean they take off Sterling, and Mahrez comes on. They take off. It's just those guys they are just too stacked, you know. So in that area, they are, I think, a few quite a few steps ahead of Liverpool. Liverpool has done well in acquiring Diaz, but then they have their level. You can see their level drops off. For example, I mean, if you have Henderson, you have Diaz, and then you bring on a Chamberlain, and then you bring on an Origi, you can see that that level is not really the same.
The girlfriend
So I
quality,
think,
yes.
yeah, there's a slight, So I think with that, because Guardiola is able to, I mean, if they have that clash, the Real Madrid clash, and then they have a Man City, a Man U, and then they have a Real Madrid home leg or return leg or whatever, they will. He can play literally three different teams for that whole that whole scenario. So he's a very good planner. He has the artillery with him, and these guys have been coached. It's like tactically he is not changing things so drastically. So he's going back to something which they have done before. So it's just a matter of, okay, this is what we do. What strategy are we picking for game X, Y, and Z? And for him, and for example, if he has games like Norwich and Aston Villa and all those things, 2 weeks prior to a crunch week, crunch time week, he will be able to even plan for that for that scenario, and bring the players for those clashes, well rested. So I think Man City will, and they're very good with this pressure. There are some teams which are not good at being chased, like Arsenal, for example. When Arsenal is in the lead and they have guys breathing down. Usually the advantage is with the person chasing, because they have the psychological advantage over you. Man City don't have that. Man City don't have that fear of we shall drop off and stuff like that. No, they're very good at leading from the front. So it's they just don't drop their level, and
Let's wait and see.
that's why they will win, I think.
All right, let's wait
Matthew,
and see.
Matthew, are you saying that same point? There's also an over-reliance on particular players for Liverpool. If anything happens to Van Dijk, like it happened before, we all noticed what happened to Liverpool. If anything happens to Mo Salah, there's an over-reliance of the team on those people. I mean, what? So Mo Salah is off and Diaz is going to carry the team? No. Not even Mane will be enough to actually carry the team. So those are the few issues that Liverpool might have against them as regards to the title challenge. And yet, for people who play fantasy, you will know it's next to impossible to actually predict the team that Guardiola is going to play, because everyone is so good. Everyone is so good. All he has to do is to rotate every other game. And that's the very big advantage that they have. It doesn't matter how many games they have, what teams they have to play, what trophies he might favor. Definitely, I know he would want to favor the Champions League. But the team is good enough that even if he did, the players who would play in the other matches would be good enough to actually go and pick up the points. That's how strong the team is.
And then he will shock you
today. Play Bernardo Silva next week. Play De Bruyne the other week. But for me, just before we close that point,
Nate,
I would like to.
Nate, on that point, just before you continue, on that point, there's a week he actually shocked me, and Bernardo Silva was on form, and he went into my fantasy team, and I'd been observing and analyzing, and so this guy was consistently playing for like 6 games. He was on fire. Put him in. Guess who he replaces him with? Not even any of those Gundogans and what. Cole Palmer comes in, and that's how my triple captain. That's how I lost my triple captain for the season. Very sad story. But anyways, the last point before we move on from the top.
Yes, I would like to urge people who bet to please, between now and the end of the season, just place all your money on Liverpool and Man City. They are going to just be cool. The only game you shouldn't bet on is their actual fixture, but the rest, man, they're going to make money. So if you have debts, you can You can allow these guys to bail you out.
Nate, how about Manu? Manu has the goat.
There's no goat there, my friend. The goat is
Jadon
sick.
Sancho. Jadon Sancho. There we go. The goat. The new goat. The baby
The new
goat. The
goat.
kid.
Mm.
Kid Sancho. Manchester United, ladies and gentlemen, touching on their result. Of course, much to Nate's much to Nate's excitement, winning 4-2 at what you'd call a sort of mini derby there against Leeds. First time at
Oh
Elland
my
Road
God, that was not a mini
I
derby.
mean, since like the 2000s, and in that game, Roy
Mm.
Keane scoring the winner, and this time, you did have more goals coming in. It was just a very entertaining match, as we all know with
Yeah.
Leeds. They may lose, but they'll always score. I don't know how they do it, but they'll always
Mm.
score. So Manchester United racing into a 2-0 lead. Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes scoring for them before Rodrigo Moreno and Rafinha leveled it up for Manchester for Leeds, and then Fred struck, and then of course Anthony Elanga putting the icing on the cake there to secure a win for Manchester United, the second win on the bounce, and that win right there takes them up on the table to fourth place, which which they're actually looking to defend. Never. Do you think they'll actually stay in fourth place, even with the chasing pack, Arsenal and Spurs having games in hand?
Uh, I feel like there's something happening at Manchester United that we are all not getting to know about. Something is really happening. I mean, in terms of the squad, they have the players, they have the
See a
personnel.
bright fellow.
They got the coach who they said has trained or mentored some of the best coaches we have in the league. So you'd have expected. Sancho is actually a good player, and it's good to see
Mm,
him come alive towards the end of the season. Those are the sort of players who we actually want to have in the league and build it up. Bruno has already proved himself. I'm liking Elang as well, but honestly, once it came to 2-2, the minute and the players who actually scored for Leeds were all substitutes. And once Rafinha came on,
mm.
I actually had a feeling another disaster was brewing to happen. Actually,
Was look,
that's the sort of
yeah,
Manchester United we've gotten sort of used to of late. They cannot hold a lead. They even if it's 2-0, somehow the game ends 2-2 or something. And obviously, the blame has been solely on the captain for some obvious reasons as well. But I think the blame should be on most of the players. Some of them are really not carrying their weight. And obviously, the GOAT, trying to rely on him the most. He's not the same player he was 10 years ago. He's still effective. He's still good. They can't find a way of using him. I mean, they've lost some of the bright spark in terms of the players that were actually upcoming for different reasons, for the likes of Greenwood,
mm,
but they still have enough
yeah,
firepower actually to actually go past some of these. Leeds has been playing so bad. Having them score 2 goals in I don't know how many seconds, 27 or something, or a minute, or that's unacceptable for a club in the caliber of Manchester United. And that in itself is why I would think they might find it hard to hold on to fourth, although the competition in and around them
mm,
is so stiff because the clubs, the point difference is 1, 2. Some of them are equal, and apart from games in hand, which I think Manu proved that those can be losses in hand, so you cannot rely on those that much.
yeah,
I still don't think they have it in them unless something happens drastically and they have a jump start. I was feeling for them being actually happy about that game
mm,
because that game for me would have given confidence to so many other clubs to see that actually, you know what, this is not the United of the old. We can actually beat them. There's a lot to work with for other clubs, so they will
mm,
find it hard to stick and stay in fourth or finish actually in fourth. The advantage of being there where the other teams have games in hand is that you're actually there. You cannot be so sure about the games in hand. I mean, Arsenal beat Wolves, and just the next game, Wolves was literally walking over Spurs. After that, Spurs managed to beat City. That's the sort of league we actually have. So you cannot be so sure. But with the way Manchester is playing right now, unless something changes, I don't think they'll stay in fourth.
Yeah, Nate, very interesting, reaction there from Neville. But what's your take on that? I'm sure you must be
Ne-
thinking fourth is a definite certainty.
No, no, I don't think it's a definite certainty. But Neville said something is happening at Manchester, and then he said nothing is happening in his closing argument. So anyway, I don't know which side is, but I guarantee
Something is
I
happening
guarantee.
behind the scenes, but nothing is happening on the pitch.
Oh, on pitch.
Yeah.
I guarantee you something is happening at Manchester United, something
Nate,
positive.
did you say Nate? Just
Hmm?
to correct, point of clarity there. No, but you
Mm,
said something is happening at Manchester uh,
mhm.
City, right? Yeah,
No,
United.
you
something is
thinking
happening
or City?
behind
Oh,
the
United.
Oh
Oh,
curtain
yeah, you
sorry.
mean you mean
at
behind us in
United,
the dressing
and
room?
nothing is happening on the
Okay,
pitch. So yeah,
okay,
that's
Ah,
what I'm
right,
saying.
right, right, right.
I get you. All right. Anyway,
Thank you. Clear, clear.
I would like to. This one I cannot predict. I can't predict. I can't say for certain that we're going to be in the top four. What I know is that we are improving. All this, and that is something. I think it's akin to what was happening at Arsenal when everyone was shouting about Arteta out and all this business. Guys were, under, call it underground, or below the surface. There are improvements that are happening. People are continuing to click. you know this was a derby, so I don't think, when it's a derby, it's not a mini derby, it is a real derby. Actually, the hatred between Leeds and Manchester United has been around for longer and runs deeper than Man City United and Liverpool United. This is a Yorkshire, Lancashire kind of situation. And if you read English history, you will kind of um, educate yourself on why these teams are so bitterly pitted against each other. So as derbies go, I mean, if let's say Everton beat Liverpool 5-3, or Tottenham beat Arsenal 6-4, whatever it is, it wouldn't be that. I don't think that is a sign, or like a telltale sign of, like, oh my goodness, this team is bad and all this business. Derbies are different games. These are different games. They take on a different life of their own. They throw out form, they throw out consistency, and all those things. So what I liked, and what I've liked, with what we have been doing, is we haven't been losing one. I think we've lost one game since Ragnick came. So we have been. You can see the evolution. We have been leading and then losing leads, leading and then losing leads. And then the past two games we have led, lost a lead, and had that spirit to come back and actually win games. So I think um, we are growing slowly. Trying to coordinate more and more. McTominay is playing. I never thought I would say this, but McTominay is playing a bit. He's playing well, a bit better than he has been playing before. Fred, you saw the substitution.
Net, should he have gotten a red card?
No.
If he was an Arsenal player, he would have
Come
gotten a
on,
red card.
No. The intention, it didn't warrant a red card. The surface was so bad. Did you guys watch that game? The surface was so bad. The rain just, in the rain, when a guy slides to tackle, really, the rain really takes him. I mean, that momentum is so like too much more amplified than on a normal game day. So it really appeared like he had slashed the guy and all these things, but I don't think it was a red card. But Fred, you saw the substitution.
Nate, I think that was a game-changing decision. By the way, I think it was a turning point in that
I
match.
mean,
Um,
as a rival, I don't expect anything different.
no,
But
no, no. I mean, you could see shades of Howard Webb being
No.
influenced by
There were
them.
no shades anywhere.
And
You know.
the reason I say that is because that was not his first offense in the game. Remember, he actually
Yeah.
took out this guy. What's his name? Coach. When he rammed into him, this guy got a head
Yeah.
injury and had to go off. And that was something like his fourth offense. So he kept getting away with it. And now, to add insult to injury from a Leeds perspective, to actually go into that last tackle, that last challenge, and then only walk away with a yellow card. Set the scene up for United thinking, now we have, once we survive that, then now we're good to go. Because if you notice, if it was like a few weeks ago, Harry Maguire gets a red card, the game ends 2-2, right?
Really?
And now we're starting to
No.
see. I don't know whether you'd call it luck. You can call it luck. I call it very lenient or actually poor officiating from the referee.
These are
Because for
strong
me, and you
words.
could see, yes, you could see what the benefit was for United at the end of the game, because McTominay goes off at that point. Leeds were in the ascendancy, scored 2 quick fire goals. They probably may not have scored. And of course, with the benefit of hindsight is a wonderful thing, but they would have probably found it difficult to score with David De Gea in the form that he is in. But at least I doubt United would have nicked a winning goal. But anyway, that's just my take on it. Let me let you finalize your point before we move on from
Yeah.
United.
The cohesion of the team is now, I think, is now increased. I, for one, Matthew, I told you this when we had started, when the season had just started. I remember I was sitting in this very room that I am in right now, and I told you that it was a mistake for Ronaldo to come back to Manchester United. And I'm glad that I'm being proven. The guy just needs to go to Qatar, man, because Qatar guys worship that guy. They worship him, they love him. He shouldn't go to MLS. He should go to Qatar, make a lot of money, score a lot of goals, and just enjoy life there. Where he's loved, where he's adored. This Manchester thing is not working for him. The guy is finished. He's not a bad player, but he's finished. This game is too intense for him. It's too intense. That speed. He's now he's now missing one-on-ones. He's missing sitters. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness! That goal that was just. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Anyway,
Every good thing comes to an end.
Of course, every good thing comes to an end, and people need to understand this. That you need to bow out when you are still at the top.
Are you saying Rashford is a better player than Cristiano right now?
No, Rashford needs to be sold. Okay, Rashford is a bad player.
That is actually better than Cristiano right now.
I think right now because of the unfortunate incident with MG11, we do not have a wide variety. Cavani plays when he wants to play. I don't know if he's really injured. He said he has a stomach problem, and in this other week he said he wasn't fit. But I think, as it is right now, I would rather start Ronaldo than Rashford. But still, it's Ronaldo. It's not. This is not it for Ronaldo. It's just that there are no other people to play. But Ronaldo should not be our focus. For example, like going into next season. Next season we should get.
Nate, just a question. If Cristiano was in the City team, do you think he would be performing better than he is right now?
Yes.
So does that mean it was a good move to hijack that transfer?
No, it wasn't a good move because now because the way City plays, the way City plays is perfect for Ronaldo. Get the ball in, pass.
Tapping in every weekend.
Exactly, he will just be tapping in those things. So for United, the way we play, he came into a disjointed team, and it was just frustrating for him as a professional, as a person who wants to finish his career, on a high. He should have gone to Man City. So it was not a good move. To answer your point, Neville, it was not a good move to hijack, because hijack or not, you're still not going to beat Man City. So it's not just a matter of oh my goodness, Ronaldo, let's get Ronaldo, let's stop him from going to Man City, so that what? Ronaldo being at Manchester United does not mean that we're going to win any titles soon, you know.
Well,
So the guy should have
unfortunately,
just gone to Man City.
Nate, unfortunately, Ed Woodward does not have the same thought process as you do, and
Who is that?
decisions
Who
went
is that
differently.
again?
Well, I'm sure you're very familiar with the
Ed
man.
Woodward and I are the same. We are both not Manchester United employees.
Now,
Why, man?
Nate, you need to add the fact that it's now.
And
Well,
yes. So moving on to the most handsome coach or manager in the Premier
God.
League, Nate. I'm sure you know. Yeah, you've had them sing those songs, right?
This
He's the
guy's hair
most
is
handsome.
black.
I can't even
Does this guy
remember what
use
that
dye?
song was, but
Does he use dye?
dude, you see,
The guy's
when
hair
results
is
are going for
jet
you, such
black, like
things that come,
my God.
even things that come
Oh,
naturally. No,
I
he's still
know.
in his
I don't know
30s,
how
man.
I don't know how he manages
He's
to
a
keep
young
his hair
man.
black like that.
No, it's a natural one. But anyway, Mikel Arteta ushering in, of
Mm,
course, another win there for the Arsenal, second win of the year after a tough start, no win in January, and 2-1 win for the Arsenal, getting their revenge over Brentford. Lacazette taking a Twitter dig at Ivan Toney, similar dig that Ivan Toney actually sent to the Arsenal, or rather posted on his Twitter when Brentford beat Arsenal in the first game of the season. But goals coming in from the golden boy Saka, and another one of our golden boys, Emil Smith Rowe, and fantastic goals they were, actually giving Arsenal a win. It's a shame they couldn't get that clean sheet right there. I personally felt that one with Ramsdale in goal on my fantasy Premier League team for the week. So, unfortunate there, but great result. I'll take the result. And Arsenal starting to pick up some
yeah.
steam, even without the strikers. We did see Neville Lacazette missing a couple of chances, and it was just not working out for Lacazette. Unfortunately, they conceded a goal towards the back end. But if I were to start with Nate for this particular one, Nate, what are your
Mm.
thoughts on Arsenal? Do you think ideally this win taking them up on the table into sixth place? Actually, they maintained sixth place right there, but they're 3 games in hand over Manchester United and are on 42 points. Manchester United on fourth and 46 points. West Ham in between them on
Mm.
42 points, also on 26 games played. So 3 games in hand over both West Ham and United, and they have basically the same number of games played as Spurs, but are 3 points ahead of Spurs. So it's looking quite interesting. Wolves, by the way, climbing into seventh there with their victory as well. So it's looking a bit tight. Wolves leaping ahead of Spurs there. But do you think Arsenal have what it takes to win all their games in hand, considering they haven't played? We have Chelsea and Liverpool as some of those games in hand. But I think before that even comes, those games are played. There is a bit of a run there against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the end of this week, and then they have Watford, then they have Leicester City, and then the games in hand start to be played again. So you have Liverpool, welcoming Liverpool to the Emirates, and then a few tricky ties right there. Following, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Brighton and Hove Albion. Before, I'm sure a Chelsea game is going to be slipped in between that mix. So, do you see, Nate? Do you see Arsenal having what it takes to usurp Man United from fourth place and just, basically just finish the season in fourth?
How many games do you have to go? 12. 12. It's really hard to predict. Like I said, I don't know if if United will finish in the top 4.
The team.
And I could say the same
Mm.
for Arsenal. I really do not know because there are so many games to go. And I think for Arsenal, it's 15 games. So that's nearly a whole half of a season. So like
Yeah,
I can't
it's
I can't
13 games,
really
man.
tell you. Hmm? What's that?
It's 13 games to go.
Arsenal, how many games have we
It's
played?
13 games to go.
How many games has Manchester played?
He's
United?
right. 15 games for Arsenal.
15 games for
Oh,
Arsenal.
is it 15?
15 games for
Oh,
Arsenal
yeah,
and
the
Yeah.
12
Chelsea
games
game.
for
All right, the
United.
games in hand. The 2 games in hand. Yeah, yeah.
You guys have
Yeah,
three
yeah, you're
games in
right.
hand.
You're
Are
right.
they three?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, 3
really,
games in
really
hand.
hard
You're
to
right.
predict.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah,
missed.
exactly. So it's very hard to predict whether um whether Arsenal will finish. I really don't know who's going to finish fourth. But the
Hmm.
this problem of I would rather I know that I would rather play my games like City was doing, when everyone else was in COVID and they were, asking the league to excuse them. City was playing their games and winning them. I would rather win. I would rather play my games now than have that false hope and confidence of games in hand. I don't like games in hand personally. I really don't like games in hand. I don't like games in hand because they come thick and fast, you know, and I don't know because you could have games where I mean you have quite a number of games back to back, and the teams you're playing have like rested maybe 4 days or three, you know. So it's not the ideal situation for a club,
Hmm.
especially when the FA is trying to close out the league. When the Premier League is trying to close out the league and just get a space and put them on a Tuesday when they played on a Saturday. That kind of thing. I don't like it. But we'll see. I think the race
So
for top four is also going to be quite interesting. So let's
down
wait
to the wire, you
and
think?
see. Yeah, it's going down to the wire. Definitely, it's going down to the wire. It's definitely going down to the
Brilliant.
wire.
Never your thoughts on that Arsenal game before we move on. I see we're out of time.
My thoughts on the fourth position, actually, personally, I would want to drag Chelsea back into it. I feel like the way they are playing, they were lucky to actually win the last game. If they're not careful, they might be 2 slots to fight for, and that is third and fourth. I still insist that I don't think Manu will make it, but I want to cancel out one team in particular. I feel like Wolves do not have the mentor and the team squad depth or the pedigree to actually make it to fourth. So I feel like they might be the team not to consider, but I feel like there's still some room to maneuver for Spurs. Truth be told, I mean, in terms of the way all the clubs have played, Manchester United has scored more goals than Arsenal. They've conceded more goals as well. So that's an issue. They've drawn way more goals, which is obvious. Uh, we don't have to discuss the bit of games in hand because I think Nate has gone through that and he knows what it means. They could be losses and draws in hand, so you cannot count on them. You're better being in the position you're in and you know where you
Hmm.
are and the games that are left. It always seems like an advantage, but when they start coming thick and fast, the advantage is some of the big teams that Arsenal has left actually still have some other big tournaments they're involved in. So it might be that when they fix, whenever the FA fixes those funny games where they can, Arsenal might benefit from playing a weekend squad. But I mean, have you looked at the second squad for Chelsea? Might as well be squad number one for Arsenal. And Arsenal has no out and out striker. Ned talked about Cristiano going. I cannot wait for Lacazette to go. We don't have players at the moment, so I would not want him to be on the bench because the bench is not better either. I'm tired
Nketiah,
of
man. Nketiah.
call me for a goal in Ketia. Is useless. I can't wait for him to go. I'm happy he has not signed a contract. Maybe Brentford can take him and he plays with Tony. I think right now, some of the biggest things to look forward to as an Arsenal fan is the next transfer window. Honestly, the icing on the cake and something that will make it worthwhile in terms of this caliber of players to actually bring in
Yeah.
would be to finish in fourth and have Champions League as something to show and actually be an incentive for players of that caliber to sort of come into the squad. Apart from that, and the fact that we're out of all these funny other tournaments that are actually the ones we've been thriving in for a while, there is no excuse but to finish in fourth. And if Arteta knows that, hopefully the squad does, because Lacazette doesn't. The other players, when you have young players, the likes of Smith Rowe and Saka carrying the club, you know that is not something you want to actually rely on for long. They could suffer from burnout. They have not matured enough.
Or injuries.
They've stepped in and carried the team. I won't say it's only for the club. I think Smith Rowe has the most number of goals for a midfielder in the league. He has more goals than so many other strikers. We talked about strikers not performing currently. As long as a team has players coming from the midfield to support and actually coming up with goals, the team can actually benefit. We've had defenders also chipping in with goals, the likes of Gabriel. The keeper has been good. I still think it should have been a clean sheet for Ramsdale. That goal was an offside from when they crossed. Those things happen. So I think the challenge mainly will be between Arsenal, Manchester. I mentioned I'm bringing Chelsea in it, and I won't cancel out Spurs. As long as Harry Kane decides to play, they might just come in and also prove a run for the money. All we need is City to drop some points, and the league will be not for winning, but at least it will be worth the chance looking at and having people giving credit to what all the teams have been. It's been one of those seasons whereby every match you go in, I personally mentioned, I think this tonight, I said, I saw Manchester play against Norwich when Cristiano, I think, scored a penalty. And Arsenal was playing Norwich the game after. I actually thought we were going to lose. Norwich was playing like they were fighting for the trophy. I was so impressed across the board, from the defense, the midfielders. They were actually outplaying Manchester United. It's that sort of season whereby you cannot say you're going to win against Brighton. You never know what team is going to come. So the teams are really strong, and even games in hand could be losses or draws. So, but the onus is on Arsenal. I think the biggest challenge is for them. They need to bring in players, come the window, and they need to actually finish in fourth to do that. And also, there's nothing else to play for. Other teams have other tournaments they're playing in, and Arsenal doesn't. So it helps Arsenal because we don't have the players as well. Would have been bad when you have to juggle the Europa and flying elsewhere.
Connection sounds like.
Am I back? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man.
Basically, what I was saying, the onus is on Arsenal. It's fourth place is for Arsenal to lose. Everything is for them right now, apart from the squad. But the players currently in are fighting for it, apart from Lacazette. So we'll see how that goes.
Brilliant. Look, we're out of time. We could go on until the chickens come wake up or roost or croak or whatever you call it. But it's definitely a very interesting season, and we don't know who's going to finish in fourth. We're now not sure between Liverpool and Man City who's going to run away with or who's going to secure the Premiership title. We're not sure between the two of those, the top of the two of those chaps at the top, who's going to end up in the Champions League final. And we do also have the more business of Carling Cup final this coming weekend between Chelsea and Liverpool. Also, so it's fantastic action. We have reached, as Alex Ferguson used to call it, squeaky bum time, the great point of the season. But we will have to leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Neville. Thank you, Nate, for joining in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're just joining. Play back and catch up with the action as well as the other episodes. Thank you guys for joining. Have a great rest of the week.
All right, cheers, man.
Cheers.